The group appeared tired from the long journey, but all smiles on their arrival in the United States.
The president made it clear that Afrikaners in South Africa who were the victims of unjust racial discrimination would be welcome to come to the United States, and he's now delivering on that promise. The Deputy Secretary and I just spoke to some of the folks who arrived on this flight, and they tell quite harrowing stories of the violence that they faced in South Africa that was not redressed by the authorities, by the unjust application of the law. The United States, as we were proud to say, stands for equal justice under law and the fair and impartial application of the law.
The refugees, who were described here as having experienced violence and a fear for their lives, are expected to be transferred to different states where they will begin the process of assimilation, while their initial needs of housing and other basic requirements are expected to be facilitated by the receiving state.
We underscored for them that the American people are a welcoming and generous people, and we underscored the importance of assimilation into the United States, which is one of the very important factors that we look to in refugee admissions. And through this resettlement program for these folks who were vetted in South Africa, and we're sending a clear message that the United States really rejects the egregious persecution of people on the basis of race in South Africa, and we welcome these people to the United States and to a new future.
Lando was party to a call with Deputy Minister of International Relations Alban Boetus on Friday, where the allegations of discrimination were rejected as unfounded.
The U.S. also participates in...
A view echoed by President Ramaphosa on a working visit to Côte d'Ivoire.
We have raised our own concern because those people who are being enticed to go to the United States do not fit the definition of a refugee. A refugee is someone who has to leave their country out of fear of political persecution, religious persecution, or economic persecution, and they don't fit that bill. They don't fit that description. And I had a conversation with President Trump on the phone, and he said, "What's happening down there?" And I said, "President, what you've been told by those people who are opposed to transformation back home in South Africa is not true." And I added to him, I said, "We were well taught by Nelson Mandela and other iconic leaders like Oliver Tambo on how to continue to build a united nation out of the diverse groupings that we have in South Africa."
While the US president indicated that he was expecting a leadership delegation from South Africa at the White House next week.
South Africa leadership is coming to see me, I understand, sometime next week. And, we're supposed to have I guess a G20 meeting there or something. But we're having a G20 meeting. I don't know how we can go unless that situation's taken care of. But it's a genocide that's taking place that you people don't want to write about. But it's a terrible thing that's taking place. And farmers are being killed. They happen to be white. But whether they're white or black makes no difference to me. But white farmers are being brutally killed, and their land is being confiscated in South Africa. And the newspapers and the media, television media, doesn't even talk about it.
A first group of white Afrikaner refugees now in the system, with more expected in the weeks and months ahead.
The Afrikaner refugee issue is one of several that would be addressed if and when President Cyril Ramaphosa travels for a face-to-face meeting with his US counterpart, a meeting that is likely to focus on issues related to trade, which has emerged as a key bilateral concern in recent months. different foreign policy positions, including the question of Palestinians in Gaza or peace in Ukraine, and the future working relationship ahead of the G20 Leaders Summit in South Africa later this year, which President Ramaphosa is keen to have President Donald Trump attend. Sherwin Bryce-Pease, SABC News, New York.